Whole show going crazy. Whole show going crazy. Top five we debating.
Top five. 5 Over Friends, the show where we debate our top 5 list on a topic chosen by a listener with the listener.
As usual, our friendship goes out the door once we get into it. This is 5 Over Friends.
All right, guys. So Seth lost episode 10. So here we are with his punishment. He is going to tell you a football-related fact.
In his prime, Cam Newton was a better quarterback than Patrick Mahomes.
All right, there you have it, guys.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of 5 Over Friends. This is episode 11. Say what's up to the people, Wes.
What's up, guys? Thanks for joining us again. We have with us this week Josh. Josh, introduce yourself.
Hey, I'm Josh. It's great to be here. I want to throw a quick shout out to Jack and Caitlin, the new current O'Neills, for a happy marriage, and my buddy Roker for helping me get on this thing.
Awesome. Thanks for joining us this week, Josh, and we appreciate you coming on and
Josh has quite the interesting topic for us this week.
Yes, he does. This is not like any topic we've done yet. It's a pretty fun one. So Josh, why don't you talk about it a little bit?
Yeah, so basically the topic is the top 5 presidents in a Battle Royale situation. So essentially you drop all the presidents on a giant island and sort of Hunger Games-ish style, just let them go at each other and see who comes out on top.
Yeah, I really like this topic. It was everything else that we've done is kind of based in reality, so it's pretty cool to kind of be able to use your imagination on one and come up with with your answers.
Yeah, this one had me like doing a lot more research than a lot of the other ones because I'm not super familiar with the history of our U.S. presidents as far as their physical specimen goes and what their skills are. So yeah, this was interesting because I don't have a lot of, personal experience with these like we have with a lot of the other ones. Your top 10, your top 5 first, your top 5 favorite hip hop artists from this era, or Will Ferrell movies, or any of the other ones that we've done. So yeah, I really like the idea of this being kind of conceptualized top 5.
Yeah, and I was telling Seth when I first started doing the research for this that I had to Google a lot of weird stuff just to come up with what my answer would be. I was like, who was the tallest president? And I thought I knew that one, and I was right on that. But then which president was like an avid hunter, or which, like, I was just Googling random stuff, just trying to come up with reasonings for why I thought the guys, the particular president would be where they were in a list. So that was pretty fun. So yeah. I guess without further ado, Josh, why don't you take us in with your number 5?
All right. So at the number 5, I've got the great George W. Bush. He came in at a pretty spry 54, not too bad. He's got an immediate tag team with his dad, who was a war hero. But his dad was a little older, so I couldn't throw him at 5. But it's a quick combo right off the bat. He's a friendly Southern dude. He was in the, I think, National Guard, so he's got a little bit of training. He was at the Skull and Bones at Yale, which like half the other presidents were, so he's got some connections there too. So I think it's a pretty solid start.
I can't hate it. He was one that I had on my honorable mentions list. He definitely somebody I considered, but he did not make my top 5. But can't hate on it at all.
I'm just happy that we started off with one that I was alive for. So there's one. That's a plus one right there.
Yeah, there's definitely someone here. I was like, I don't know a whole lot about this person, but the internet says this about him.
I mean, he did take us to war, so I mean, he gets a plus one for that also.
Yeah, he's trigger happy.
And I definitely feel like them Texas guys, they know how to handle a gun or whatever. I feel like I don't know if we get guns here, but
yeah.
I feel like the Texas guys, they're very savvy when it comes to things like that.
Yeah, and my fear with the new presidents was like they're a little soft. They don't go outside a whole lot. They don't know how to survive off the land. But W, he's out there on a farm doing his work. Be like he can survive a little bit, do a little hunting.
Yep, exactly. I like it. I can stand by that pick. All right, Seth, let's hear your 5.
All right, so I feel like we all kind of went about what the Battle Royale is going to look like a little bit differently. In my mind, I'm thinking like it's a fight to the death with no other tools or objects available. So my number 5 is coming in at a 6'3" height, a spry 243, with a don't give a shit attitude. That is President Donald J. Trump. Ba ba ba.
Oh my gosh!
Coming at you.
No,
Because he gives absolutely no shits about anything.
He's got to
He
be
could
one
care
of the most
less.
unathletic ones, though. Like
I don't care if he's unathletic, buddy. He's got what it takes to not give a shit about what anyone thinks.
He's a fat tub of lard.
You're looking at a 70-year-old man.
He's got the length. He's got the length going right here. Okay, 6'3". You got that large belly, deflects a lot of shots, a lot of body shots going. All right. Okay, he's distracting him with the hair blowing in the wind. You don't know which way he's going because it's going left, he's going right. Right? And he doesn't have any regard for anyone or anything. So number 5, Donald J. Trump.
All right. Before I go on with my list, I'd like to tell the listeners, or just ask of the listeners, like, that automatically invalidates Seth's list right there. That's just awful. That is just downright terrible. I don't care what he says from 4 through 1. There is no overcoming putting Trump on your list. There's just not.
Wes, you know nothing. I guarantee you know nothing about at least 3 of your presidents that you have on your list, other than what you Googled in the past week. So don't play right here. At least I know who this guy is and what his personality is like.
I do know that he would not stand a chance. He would be that there were some presidents who were down in their health and very, very large and things like that. I believe there was one that could not fit in a bathtub very well.
Whoa.
See, and
he fit in the bathtub. They just had to make a bigger one for him.
See, and I'm not even thinking about, when I put my list together, I wasn't necessarily thinking about them during their presidency. I was thinking about them in their prime.
That I also thought about the prime as well, and that was where I kind of went with mine. But either way, in their prime, Trump is coming in the bottom 5 for me. It's not.
I just know what the expectation is. I know what I can expect from him, and that is an absolutely don't give a fuck attitude. So
all right, I'll go with my number 5 then. So I said Barack Obama. He's a pretty tall guy. He's not one of the tallest presidents, but he's a fairly tall guy. We've all seen videos of him playing, like shooting around playing basketball. Very good golfer. He's just an athletic, well-built, in good physical shape person. So that's why I went with him at number 5. I also think he's got a little bit of a mean streak to him. I just kind of see that. I don't know where I get that from.
I don't know about that. He's like the most diplomatic person I've ever heard speak in my life.
I think I could see a little mean streak in there. So that's Barack Obama, my number 5. I don't want to hear anything from Mr. Donald Trump at 5. I don't. So
it's a better pick than Donald Trump, but I just don't see Obama throwing hands out there with everybody else.
Absolutely not.
I feel like he's the type, he would do what he had to do.
No, he's trying to talk to him in his very eloquent speech as to why they should, not fight.
Well,
he'd
confuse your number 5 so much that like he would talk circles around him and he'd probably just pass out. But that's neither here nor there. We'll go on with my number 4. I went Abe Lincoln. He is our tallest president. So I'm just going literally on that and that alone. Just our tallest president. That's it.
I mean, I don't know. I feel like I have some politically incorrect things I could be throwing out there about Abe Lincoln. I mean, he can't protect his own back. How can you expect him to win a battle royale?
I know that's where it was going, but if everyone is equipped with the same weaponry or no weaponry at all, I like his chances. You can think of it how you want. If everyone has a gun, then he can protect himself better.
He can be gotten with a quick sneak attack is all I'm thinking.
Right. And yes, you're talking about one of our former presidents here, so let's that was where I was very aware of where the conversation would go if I picked an Abe Lincoln or a JFK for my list. So I will leave it at that. My number 4 is Abe Lincoln. We can go to Seth now.
Wes doesn't want to hear any more negatives about his number 4. He knows it's a terrible pick. He's moving forward. Okay, my number 4 pick.
I just think it's. I'm just trying to be politically correct here and not talk about our departed presidents.
It is what it is, right? At this point, I mean, history is history. And speaking of some history, this is a hometown hero of mine. Number 4, Harry S. Truman. He clearly has what it takes. He has shown willingness to make the tough decision regarding life itself. He has been an underdog his entire career. I always cheer for the underdog. You know, Dewey defeats Truman. He got the dub even before anyone thought he would. So I think that Harry S. Truman is very tactical. He was in the military. He has a good idea of military tactics. Like I said, he's not scared at all to make the incredibly difficult decision. And, you know, number 4, he's from my hometown. So I got to throw one out there with Harry S. Truman.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I can't tell you much about Harry Truman.
Yeah, through my research, I just know he was a little light, like 167 pounds. It's a little scrawny. He might get thrown around by your Trump.
See, that's why Trump's 5 right there. But you know, Harry Truman, he has I don't even want to put it out there. He's got what it takes to take people out.
All right. So at my number 4, I had as much as I hate to say it with how much crap Seth gave, Abraham Lincoln also. He was super tall, and I don't know if you've seen the movie Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter. The man hunted vampires. Pretty good skill set for this situation.
Great skill set, if you ask me. And we won't hear Seth's argument about the thing that happened to him. That if everyone is equipped and everyone knows that they're in a battle royale situation, then the sneak attack, you're ready for that sneak attack. But if you're watching a play, you're not so much ready for it.
Well, I feel like I need to circle back to my number 5 now that we're including fictional items or fictional stories about our characters, because I'm pretty sure, you know, my pick at number 5 could make up any story about himself and put it out there on Twitter. So if we're going with fictitious events, then that just strengthens my number 5 pick.
Yeah, he probably will tweet out after this that he wrestled a huge bear. Huge. The biggest bear.
The biggest and the strongest.
Yes. All right. I mean, obviously, I love that pick at 4, Josh. I think it's a great pick. I think 4 is the exact spot for him.
Yeah. I wanted to congratulate you when you did it, but I didn't want to give away my pick.
Exactly. Yeah, so great pick there. Let's hear your 3.
All right, 3, I got Andrew Jackson. So I was, in my research on here, I saw that he just had over 100 duels, which I feel like most people get 1 or 2. That man was sitting at 100. He literally would just let someone shoot him to then shoot him back at a better spot. He was known for having a horrible temper, and when he was tried to be assassinated, he beat the dude with a cane until he died. And the only reason he's not higher up on my list at number 1 is because he was 6'1", but $130. So that's just a little thin for my taste.
Yeah, he's got that little man syndrome. He's mean.
Yeah, it's just got that mean streak.
6'1", 130. Oh my God.
That is a twig.
That is weird.
Small man.
Yeah. I saw a little drawing of him, and he just looked like a stick figure in clothes.
That is definitely an interesting stat that I didn't know about the 100 duels. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So
that is cool. Look at this. We're getting historic facts into the show today. All I know about him is he's on my $20 bills, and I like racking those up. So
yeah. So yeah, with the 100 duels, I can't argue with that pick at all. A little small for my list. I'll like you said, that definitely knocks him down. But I mean, if you can win 100 duels and beat some dude with your cane to death, I'll take you. I'll take you on my team.
That had to have been a little tiny dude that he beat with that cane.
Yeah, that guy was.
Imagine how many times he had to hit that guy.
125.
Yeah, like he hit that guy 46 times. Okay.
Oh, goodness.
So I guess it's my turn to give my number 3 on
yes,
this
sir.
Incredibly interesting topic. Coming in at 6'2", 196 pounds, I'm going George Bush Sr. on this one. The reason I'm going with Sr., he's a little taller than his son. He's got a little bit more build to him. A little more athletic, in my opinion. He was a first baseman at Yale. And I feel like anybody who goes skydiving for their 90th birthday is willing to put up a fight and really has no regard for their own life. So
we
for that
definitely did our
reason,
research on the same website because I read that exact same blurb.
George Bush Sr. is my number 3 pick.
Yeah, when I was doing my research, and I remember reading that exact same blurb of something about skydiving for your 90th birthday. Whatever it was.
Facts are facts. It could come from a million different websites. He did it, so that's all that matters.
Yeah, but I'd also considered Senior. I think the college athletics thing that plays a part and shows that he was an athlete. But he did not make my top 5. An honorable mention as well.
Yeah, I don't know. I just think if W got in trouble, HW is going to come in there and give us life first. He's going to be out a little sooner.
Not H-Dub's gonna push him right into the X.
All right, I'll go on with my number 3. So for 3, I said Teddy Roosevelt. So he was a big old burly guy, and he was
this
a
guy's
hunter.
name's Teddy.
But he wasn't a Teddy though. He was a hunter. He was a manly, burly guy, and according to the internet, he killed 296 animals in his trophy hunting career. So he has that killer instinct in him, even if it's only proven with animals. I feel like anybody that's got the ability to do that can succeed in a battle royale situation. So.
He was a thick dude too.
Yeah, exactly. He was burly.
Yeah, I saw him at Night of the Museum. He was thick.
But yeah, so I the main reasoning for the choice behind him, the big hunter, the big game hunter, the trophy hunting, all of that good stuff, and I think that translates well to a battle royale situation. And then, without further ado, my number 2, say Dwight Eisenhower. So in my research with him, he was an Army football player, real tough guy, and so that is kind of the reasoning behind that, and don't have a whole lot more to say about it than that. I think if you can compete at a collegiate football level and be a president, like you've got the chops for this. So
yeah. I'll say there's worse picks. It's hard to hate against a guy that played football at Army.
Exactly. I mean, you know they're tough when they play football, especially at like one of the military schools.
I can't hate on that pick because that's also my number 2 pick. Because of
the only good pick you've had so far.
He's a running back at West Point and a linebacker, so he's a tough guy. He knows how to hit people and take a hit because he's a running back. And he was an Army general. Like, he's got all the tactics that it takes. He's got the strategy. He's got all that it needs coming in at his 5'10", 172 pounds. Not the tallest or the thickest guy out there, but I feel like he has the mental and physical capacity to take on all up until second place in the battle royale of our former and current presidents.
Yeah, can't hate on the pick. Like I said, the only good pick you've made so far. So I mean, if we're doing a top 2, you still if we were doing a top 2 show, you still have a chance to have a decent list. But it's a top 5 show, so
you put a guy on your list who literally died at the hands of someone else. Like,
okay, well, he could have. Like, those could be one of the people that are 3, 2, 1 for me. I didn't say he was going to be number 1. I didn't put somebody who died at the hands of someone else at number 1. So there's 3 people that can take him out.
You put him at 4.
Right. And I put him at 4 on the strength of being our tallest president. And if everyone is on a level playing field, that is a big advantage, because obviously in his situation, he was not on a level playing field. He did not have a weapon to defend himself against someone with a weapon. Or if neither one of them are going to have weapons, I'll take the taller guy. So that's my, again, not
Andy Hunt's vampires.
Not to bring up
it's like, man, wow, great pick.
All right.
Ugh.
So after all of that, Josh, let's hear your number 2.
All right. So my number 2 was Teddy Roosevelt. Because I mean that's a solid pick. Man was thick, and he had asthma, and then just like got over it by effort, which I didn't know was possible, but he found a way. So that's
He
just
got
impressive.
over it by effort.
He just tried his way out of
perseverance right
asthma.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
He efforted his way into no asthma.
Yeah,
Just
maybe a
trained
little
him.
bit of a try hard, but it's what you want here.
I like the pick. I'll give you some facts to back up that pick. He's a hunter, and he killed 296 animals. So I don't know how he kept up with that many animals, but hey, he's got that killer instinct. I like the pick.
Just take
Love-
his spectacles, and he won't be able to see his
Love the pick, actually.
targets any longer.
And there's also if we're talking about movies with presidents in them, he's got a pretty good one himself.
Yeah, he's been around.
All right, so that's everybody's 5 through 2. So let's get into the number ones. These are your Battle Royale champions of the presidents. Let's hear them.
All right. So my number 1 is the correct choice, without a doubt. It's a man by the name of William H. Taft. Stood at
The big boy coming
The
through.
big boy. Over 6 feet, over 300 pounds. They had to build a new bathtub for him because he was so big.
Oh, that's why he made the comment.
Yeah, that's why. He was a heavyweight wrestling champ at Yale and Teddy Roosevelt's Secretary of War. So my 2 and 1, I feel like, got a quick tag team going on. I mean, the dude was just built for fighting.
I mean,
He was built for that, or he's built for cupcakes.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know what he is built for, but he might
sumo
put
wrestling?
Joey Chestnut in, back in his place.
I mean, if we're going on sheer size, and if we're going, especially with if there's no weapons, if it's a hand-to-hand combat and you don't have to run away, if he can get the people in his grasp, I do like his chances there. But
This guy probably runs like a 3-minute 40. Like, come on. Okay, he's gonna get worn out and have a heart attack like within the first 15 seconds of the Royale.
But when it's down to the last 2, he's just got to spin and wait for someone to come to him.
But he's gonna dizzy. He got congestive heart failure.
He's saying
you
this
want
when
him
he
to
had
spin
Trump
in
on his
circles.
list. Come on now. You had Trump on your list. I don't. As far as
I didn't have him as my champion of the Battle Royale, so
right, but having him on your list at all just makes your list wrong. But either way, let's hear your number 2, Seth, or number 1.
I'm going for my number 1 here, since I've already given my number 2, Dwight D. Eisenhower. This one is going to be Gerald Ford. I feel like he's a really solid pick. You know, he's 6'1", okay, 190 pounds. He had 2 national championships while he played football in Michigan. He was the team MVP, and he's got a lot of endurance because he was a swimmer, a runner, and a tennis player. So I feel like he's got the athletic chops to definitely out-endure Mr. Taft over here, or President Taft over here, who's going to be keeling over. I don't know about overcoming, a disease or anything of that nature, or a physical condition like asthma. Just mentally, maybe he took some essential oils or something, mid-level marketing scheme. But I don't know. Number 1, Gerald Ford. I really don't think there's a good argument against Gerald Ford. I think he's definitely the GOAT, number 1 champion, and it's all said and done right there.
I really hate that we have the same number 2 and number 1 with how terrible the rest of your list was. It really pisses me off. I too picked Gerald Ford just on the back of the Michigan football that you mentioned, and the fact that he also had pro teams that were courting him, as the internet talked about, after his time at Michigan.
And if it's on the internet, it's true.
So. Oh yes, exactly. Wikipedia all day long.
Wikipedia.
But no, I feel like anybody with that ability, that athletic ability, and again, the intelligence to be a president, has the chops to win a battle royale. So with his athletic ability and just intelligence all around, he is your battle royale champion. So Pick the list that has him in the champion and not Donald Trump. That's just all I've got to say about that.
You can say whatever you want, buddy, but
All right.
I feel like I've got good reasons for my list, and we do have the same 2 and 1. So
Yeah. Like I said, your 5-4-3 was terrible. But that's neither here nor there. Let's go with a recap and some honorable mentions. I have number 5, Barack Obama. Number 4, Abe Lincoln. Number 3, Teddy Roosevelt. Number 2, Dwight Eisenhower. And number 1, Gerald Ford is your Battle Royale champion of the presidents. So I'll go with my honorable mentions. As I said before, both of the Bushes, George Bush and George Bush Sr., and then George Washington, JFK, and Reagan. Those were my choices. For Reagan, he was a high school football player. He was a young president. He was athletic, younger president than some. And then for JFK, he was an athletic swimmer. He was also a young president. We don't need to talk about what happened to him. Everybody knows that.
I feel like that's even a more different situation than Abe. Like Abe, that was like close combat.
Right.
Kennedy was like long distance.
Right. It was, but again, neither saw it coming, and neither were protected. And there's much better security detail around presidents in these days. I don't imagine it was very good back then.
Not that I think Trump needs a good security detail because he's out there throwing haymakers. But
okay. Trump would be the real life president that would actually punch babies, I think. That's the only thing
That's what you need in a battle royale, buddy. You never know when a baby attack might come.
So with George Sr., like you said, he was a college baseball player. George Washington, I don't really know why I picked him other than just like the chop down the cherry tree axe. Like
you like the wooden teeth.
Yeah.
You thought the wooden teeth were going to make a difference?
I just feel like he was gritty and mean, and I feel like the older presidents were they lived in a different time where they were a lot more capable of winning in hand-to-hand combat versus our current president. I don't think he could. He could beat a baby in hand-to-hand combat if he tried really hard, but I'm not sure if he could. And I did make a note here. So I had my top 5, my honorable mentions, and then last place it does say Trump, LOL. That's what says. It literally says that on the piece of paper. If you like, I'll show the camera here, and it does. And so that is my top 5, my honorable mention. We will throw it to Seth for his.
All right, so the best top 5 list here on today's episode started with number 5, Donald J. Trump, 6'3", 243 pounds. Harry S. Truman making the tough decisions regarding human life at number 4. And by the way, he's 5'8", 170 or 167. Doesn't matter. He's got what it takes. Number 3, Bush Sr., 6'2", 196 pounds. Dwight Eisenhower, 5'10", 172 pounds. And number 1, Gerald Ford, 6'1", 190 pounds. My honorable mentions for today's episode are William Taft, just because I feel like he could take a punch to the gut. Barack Obama, because he's long and lanky. Abe Lincoln, because he couldn't be in the top 5, clearly, but he's an honorable mention just because he's tall. Number 4, Ulysses S. Grant. He's got a lot of military background and chops. And the last one was John F. Kennedy. So that's my top 5 and my honorable mentions for episode 11.
I feel like when you've got Pillsbury Doughboy in your top 5, though, it's really tough to, and I'm talking about Donald Trump. It's really tough for somebody to vote for you. I mean, it really is. I hate to keep harping on it, but it's just makes you.
It was a poor first pick right off the bat.
Exactly. And that's the first thing the listeners hear from you. It's like, this is my first pick. Come on, you got to do better than that.
Just fast forward a minute after.
Josh, come on. Your guy can't even run half a mile without passing out.
He doesn't need to run half a mile. It's like fighting a bear, but
Gerald Ford will just run around him. He's got everything it takes. He's got the the athletic endurance to get away from your guy. You gotta take a nap on the after eating a bag of chips. Ford will come up behind him and just, he probably doesn't even need to come up behind him. He might just stop breathing in his sleep.
Yeah, it's fair. There's a good chance Taft just passes out and dies before anything actually happens or has a heart attack.
But if he gets his hands on somebody,
they're not getting away.
All right, let's hear your recap and honorable mention.
At number 5, I had W, just Southern boy, farmer strength. I think he's got it. Abraham Lincoln coming in at 4, tall, vampire killer, a little thin, but he's got his stuff. Andrew Jackson at 3, I think he just kills for fun. Teddy Roosevelt at 2, I mean, once again, asthma. If asthma and then Taft at number 1, just the big boy coming in, finishing things off. And then my honorable mentions, Lyndon B for Big Johnson, the epitome of BDE, used to just have meetings in the bathroom just because he could. I mean, that's just a power move. Nixon was another honorable mention just because he was ruthless. I think he would slap a baby just for fun, not even for the battle.
He didn't care. I like that one.
Yeah. And then my last place was, as much as I feel bad saying it, Franklin D. Roosevelt's.
Yeah.
It's not a great situation for him. I think that's fair.
Yeah, I mean, that's probably a more realistic last place pick. I just really wanted to I wanted to joke about Trump because I do think of the able-bodied presidents, I do think Trump would be one of the worst. And I thought that well before Seth picked him at 5, but as soon as Seth picked him at 5, I had to make that known.
That's all right. It's all what the listeners think. And I think we got a lot of people who know that Trump doesn't give a shit, and he'll just do whatever it takes to win. He's trying to shut down the entire postal service right now. So come on, he's going to do whatever it takes to get that W.
I will say Trump's got the mental side, to do it. The physical side, he doesn't have it, and he's so far from being able to have it. There's only so much you can overcome, and he just can't overcome that.
And grew up soft.
Yep, softer than the Pillsbury Doughboy.
Y'all are ridiculous.
With the worst hairline, too.
Yep.
I told you, it's a distraction. It's built-in weaponry.
Man, that was a fun episode, Josh. We really appreciate you coming on and suggesting the topic. It's really cool to have an episode semi-based in reality with some imagination sprinkled in there. So that was a lot of fun. We appreciate you coming on.
Thank you all for having me. This is a blast.
Of course. So that'll do it for episode 11 of 5 Over Friends podcast. Thanks, guys, for joining in. And subscribe to the podcast, rate us, review us, give us 5 stars. And then go follow us on Instagram, 5 Over Friends, submit topics, and join us next week. Later.
See y'all.
Hey, guys, it's Seth. When Wes and I decided to start our podcast, we used Anchor because it's free. There's creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. And they'll distribute your podcast for you so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcast, and many more. You can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. It's essentially everything you need to make a podcast in one place. So go download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started.
Thanks for supporting our show, 5 Over Friends.
We hope you'll join us next week as we debate a new topic.
Don't forget to submit topics on our latest Instagram post for a chance to be our next guest debating your top 5.
Subscribe, rate the show, and share with your friends to help us grow.
See y'all next week.